Greetings to all, my dear students. This is a session for a great preparation training program. The last session we have discussed the fundamental structures in programming language C. Okay. Today's this session is going to be dealt with the same subject, programming and data structures, but with the topic is control structures and functions in C. This is a topic we are going to discuss, and we are going to solve few puzzles, or we are going to do the self check for testing our better understanding on the topic. Okay. So introduction. So what are control structures? It's a very essential entity of a programming language, because we know already the programming languages are nothing but the programming paradigms which will allow the developers to write the instructions that has to be fed to the computer. Normally, we write the instructions sequentially, one after another, isn't it? So the sequential execution will allow the compiler and interpreter to feed the instructions one after another and do the specified task which is mentioned in the instruction. But the sequential thing will not be applicable or feasible at all times. Okay. Sometimes a program may take a deviation or diversion based on the input and the conditions or expression evaluation. So how to allow a program to take diversion or deviation from a particular current running point to a, or jump to a location or statement far away. Okay. So for that, the programming language developers have given three types of control structures. The major use of control structure is to affect the order in which the statements are executed. Okay. So one by one after one, execution can be disturbed with the help of control structures. The disturbance should be legal. Okay, legal. It should not create any nuisance in the control flow. Okay. So three types of control structures provided in C language. Not only in C, almost all the languages will support three types of control structures. Number one, sequence. Number two, decision. Number three, repetition. Right? So already நீங்க பைத்தான்ல படிச்சிருக்கீங்க, C ல படிச்சிருக்கீங்க. Almost all the programming, high level programming languages take this control structures for improving the better quality of a code. Okay. What do you mean by sequence control structure? Simple, one after another. I don't bother what's happening. All the instruction will be executed one after another. Okay. I am not at all bothered or worried about what happens inside the code, or it requires jumps or not. That I don't know. This is my flow of execution. That's it. That is sequence. And selection statements are, you have to make a decision based on the expression, evaluation. Okay. So evaluate an expression, and based on the value you obtain, take a decision this way or that way. Okay. That kind of statements are called as selection statements. Here in our notes or PPT, it is number 2, decision making. Okay. And number 3, final one is iterative statements or repetitive statements. So what do you mean by iterations? Doing same task multiple times iteratively. Okay, repetitive. So repeatedly execute the same task till my goal is achieved or till the ending is reached. That is iterative statement. Okay. The simplest of this among the three, the simplest one is only the sequential statements. No jumps, no continue, no forward jump or backward jump, nothing. The computation overhead is nothing in case of sequential statements. So selection statements. Selection statements allow a program to test several conditions and execute instructions based on which the condition is true. So by the way of selection statements, you can test several conditions which are required for your programming or application task. Based on the execution, you choose a path. There are four types of selections. One is a one-way selection, two-way selection, multiple selection, switch structure. Can anyone tell the example for the four types? Can anyone guess the example for the four types? What could be the example for one-way selection? I tell the selection statements will be covered in if statements covered through if statements. So can you give an example for one-way selection, two-way selection, multiple selections with structures?
Ma'am, one-way
Ma'am,
selection,
one-way selection if,
simple
two-way
Simple.
selection if else.
Very good.
multiple
Then nested if, ma'am.
Nested if. Very, very good. Finally, switch structures.
Switch case, ma'am.
Switch cases, menu-based selections. Correct? Very good. Having better understanding. One-way selection, simple if. So simple if will take single expression and single statement execution. So which is not possible with simple if? One thing is possible, one thing is doesn't applicable for simple if. What is it? If the expression evaluation leads to the answer true, Boolean value true, the respective statement will be executed. If it is false, don't know what to do. Okay, it will come out of the conditional structure. So that is the thing. So we can evaluate only to the true value, but if it is evaluated to the false, what should happen? We don't mention in the simple if. Okay. And two-way selection if else. So I can go with the two choices, one for true choice and other for false choice. If the expression is evaluated true, what should be done? I can write. If the expression is evaluated to false, what should be done? That can be given as a statement too, but in the else portion. So if statement 1 is a true part, and if you want to mention the false part execution also, we have to enclose them within else block. Okay. So if else. And I have a doubt. If you know, please clarify. If expression statement 1 is that flag braces mandatory? Flag braces is mandatory. That is, I am asking like this. This is required. Required or not? But in syntax, it is not given. Is it required? Any guesses? It is not at all required, but it is compulsorily required if your true block contains more than one statement to execute. Again, if your else block, false block contains more than one statement, you have to block them using flag braces. Don't forget, that is very, very important. So different languages propose different syntax for blocking statements. C, C++, Java uses the flag braces for blocking statements, whereas one particular programming language uses spaces. We call them as indentation. Indentation is used to block the statements. Which language?
Python, ma'am.
Very good. Python uses indentation to block the statements. Okay. So this is two-way selection and multiple selection nested if. Okay. Condition 1 true. Then check for another condition. If it is true, go with true block, otherwise false block. And come out of the inner checking and go to the outer checking. True block we have already written with nested if. If the expression 1 evaluates to false, go to the second else block with the statement 3. Okay, this is multiple selection. So what is the advantage of this application of nested if? Can anyone tell the real-time applications of nested if? ரொம்ப simple. You are facing day-to-day life. Even in Microsoft Teams also. Multiple selection. Application of nested if. எங்கே இருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறீங்க? எந்த மாதிரி applications-ல nested if யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க? எந்த portion-ல யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்கன்னு ஏதாவது ஐடியா இருக்கா? How many of you have enabled two-way authentication, two-step authentication in Gmail? In two-step,
ma'am.
how many authentication steps you are carrying out?
Two-step verification.
Two-step. First, what will be done first? Or ஒவ்வொரு லாகின்லயும் மாத்தி மாத்தி வருமா இல்ல ஒரே ஆர்டர்ல தான் உங்களுக்கு வெரிஃபிகேஷன் போகுமா?
ஒரே ஆர்டர்ல தான்.
ஒரே ஆர்டர்ல மேம்.
So first verificationல நீங்க என்ன இன்புட் கொடுப்பீங்க?
ஐடி பாஸ்வேர்ட்.
ஐடி பாஸ்வேர்ட். செகண்ட் ஸ்டெப் வெரிஃபிகேஷன்ல
நம்ம டிவைஸ்ல இருந்து நம்ம தான் சைன் இன் பண்றோம்னு கன்ஃபர்மேஷன் கொடுக்கணும்.
அந்த கன்ஃபர்மேஷன் எப்படி கொடுப்பீங்க நீங்க? அதுக்கு சாய்ஸ் கொடுத்திருக்காங்க கரெக்ட்டா?
எஸ் மேம்.
either you can be or something else. Okay va? Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
two step. So what is it? It's some nested if. Yes or no? Nested if. And in the second step verification, we even follow switch case also, isn't it? Because choices will be given, 3 choices it seems. Whether you have been, authenticated through mobile number or phone call, அந்த மாதிரி 2-3 கொடுத்திருப்பாங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். So these are the applications of multiple selections. Okay. And finally, switch case. What is the advantage of switch structure? If you want to create menu-based application, now only we are having plenty of ideas, plenty of tools for creating GUI-based applications with the menus, attractive menu items. but C is the first high level language which is more user friendly. Okay, அப்போ முதல்ல வந்தது நமக்கு C++ தான். So how to provide? It's a console based application, not a GUI based application. It's a console based. I want to create menu based applications. Okay, the only option is switch structure. We can provide menu based application with the help of nested also, but the coding becomes so tedious and complex, difficult to handle and manage in case of debugging. Okay, so switch structure provide you the menu based applications very easily, and the code is very clear to understand and manage. Okay, so what is switch syntax? We have to start with the keyword switch followed by the expression, and the expression will be evaluating to the integer value. The integer value, one value, the expression will be evaluating to only one value. Based on the value, you invoke a menu which is to be executed. Okay, if the value is 1, go with the case block 1. If the value is 2, go with the case block 2. If the value is n, go with the statement block of n. If nothing which is mentioned listed in the case, go to the default section. If my expression doesn't evaluate to any one of the cases, by default you go to the default section. Whatever statements you have written over there, that will be executed. கரெக்டாடா? சரி, இப்போ இதில் எனக்கு ஒரு doubt. Can anyone clarify? My doubt is, if I leave break, if I remove break is mandatory.
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Yes, ma'am.
If I don't put break, what happens?
Continuous
மொத்தமா
execution of other statements, ma'am.
Continue execution of
other statements.
other cases.
The consecutive statement.
Consecutive cases. Very good. So the output will be statement 1, statement 2. It will go till case n, then finally default also. Okay, that's why we introduce break. Then what is the advantage of break? What is the advantage of break?
மேம் இப்ப செகண்ட் கேஸ்லயே நமக்கு வந்து சாட்டிஸ்ஃபை ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா டேக் கேஸை செக் பண்ண வேண்டியது இல்லை மேம், அங்கேயே பிரேக் பண்ணிட்டு கிளம்பிடலாம்.
Yes, we can avoid unnecessary execution of unwanted statements. கரெக்டா? அதுக்காக நமக்கு தேவையான வேலை முடிஞ்சு போச்சு, இந்த கேஸ்ல எனக்கு ஒர்க் ஓவர். Then why should I go ahead with other cases? Not at all required. Super, very good. Okay, that's why we are using break. And multiple selection, simple switch case கான ஒரு சின்ன diagrammatic thing. Okay, I hope you understand this diagram. Switch n, the n will evaluate to what is the value da? N is an expression. So what are the possible values for n? In this diagram, switch of n is there. So what are the possible values of n? Can anyone tell? Possible values of n? n-க்கு என்னென்ன வேல்யூலாம் வரும், என்னென்ன இன்டீஜர் வேல்யூ n எடுத்துக்கலாம்? How many cases we have?
3 cases மேம்.
அப்போ what is the,
ma'am.
how many possibilities for n?
3 possibilities, ma'am.
What could be the integer value n can hold?
10, 20, 30.
No dear, no. N can hold the value
1, 2, 3, ma'am.
1, 2, 3. Very good. At any time, any point of execution, N can hold the value 1 or 2 or 3. X is another variable. ஓகேவா? இந்த கேஸ் பக்கத்துல நீங்க போடுற வேல்யூக்கும் நீங்க ஸ்விட்ச் பக்கத்துல போடுற எக்ஸ்பிரஷனுக்கும் டைட் ரிலேஷன்ஷிப் இருக்கு. அந்த எக்ஸ்பிரஷனோடைய இன்டீஜர் வேல்யூ பொறுத்து தான் உங்களுக்கு கேஸ் பிளாக் எக்ஸிக்யூட் ஆகும். கீப் இட் இன் மைண்ட். புரியுதா? டோன்ட் கன்ஃபியூஸ். நவ் டெல் மீ வாட் ஆர் த பாசிபிள் வேல்யூஸ் ஃபார் n?
1, 2, 3.
3. That's it. Very good, very good. சரி, if I forget, இப்போ switch off n, இப்போ n ஓட வேல்யூ 1 ன்னு வச்சுப்போம்டா, which case will be executed? Which case block?
First two, ma'am.
First one. I forget to put break. Then what will be the output? I forget to put the
X
break.
is equal to 10, X is
Ah.
equal to 20, X is equal to 30, ma'am.
Yes, but I am expecting only the x should be assigned with the value 10. But I forget to put break. So finally, what will be the value of x if I forget to put the break?
X will get 3 values, ma'am.
How? X will not get 3 value. 3 times it gets overwritten. So final value will be எக்ஸுங்கிறது ஒரே வேரியபிள், சிங்கிள் வேரியபிள்ரா. மெமரியில் அதுக்கு ஒரே ரெஃபரன்ஸ் தான் இருக்கும். கேஸ் 1ல நீங்கள் 10ன்னு அசைன் பண்ணுறீங்க, கேஸ் 2ல 20ன்னு அசைன் பண்ணுறீங்க, கேஸ் 3ல 30ன்னு அசைன் பண்ணுறீங்க. அதாவது என்னோட வேல்யூவை பொறுத்து ஏதாவது ஒரு கேஸ் உங்களுக்கு எக்ஸிக்யூட் ஆகணும். கரெக்டாக? இப்போ வந்து என்னோட வேல்யூ 1ன்னு வச்சுப்போம். அப்போ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கேஸே எனக்கு எக்ஸிக்யூட் ஆயிடும். அப்போ எக்ஸ் 10ன்னு அசைன் ஆயிடுச்சு. நான் பிரேக் போட்டிருந்தேன்னா பிரச்சனை கிடையாது. த வேல்யூ ஆஃப் எக்ஸ் ஈக்குவல் டு 10 ஆஃப்டர் த ஸ்விட்ச். இஃப் ஐ ஃபர்கெட் டு புட் பிரேக் போட மறந்துட்டேன், அப்போ என்ன ஆகும்னா ஆல் த கேசஸ் வில் கெட் consequent execution. So x is assigned with the 10. In the next case, x will be overwritten with the value 20. And in the next case, x will be overwritten with the value 30. So after the switch block, x will be written with the value 30. Is it correct? What is the expectation? X should hold the value 10. But after the switch, I am getting x is assigned with the value 30. It is totally wrong. So that is the power of break. Okay, once the operation is over, quit from the execution. That is the power of break. Okay, இதனால நீங்க புரிஞ்சுக்கணும்ப்பா. இந்த ப்ரோக்ராமிங்லேயே வந்து நீங்க அதிகம் புரிஞ்சு படிக்க வேண்டிய விஷயம் கண்ட்ரோல் ஸ்ட்ரக்சர் தான். control structure, arrays, pointers, C++ na okay, but after C++, none of the languages are much using pointer explicitly. Everything is managed implicitly. C-லையும் C++லையும் மட்டும்தான் pointers கொஞ்சம் heavier யூஸ் பண்ணியிருப்பாங்க. ஓகேவா? Then conditional statements, the overall abstract of everything. Okay, so these are the syntax what we have already seen. If else, and this if else if, else if, what we call this as, if we know, if else we know, if else if இதுக்கு என்ன சொல்வாங்க? Else if ladder. Okay, and nested if within another if. Okay, switch case for menu based applications. Conditional statements or overall view. Then repetitive statement. Repetitive statement is somewhat confusing, we feel, but repetitive statements are very excellent in reducing our task. Okay, the thing we need to understand is what to assign, initialize, and what to increment or decrement, and how to control the loop. These three things we know, that's it. If you are clear with the three things, repetitive is nothing a matter. It's very simple. Repetitive statements are called loops otherwise and are used to repeat the same code multiple times in succession. That we do, right? A simple flowchart is given. A repetitive statement will have 2 points. One is the entry point, other one is exit point. And between entry and exit, it can loop into the same structure between the statements of entry and exit. It can loop into the statements till some condition is met. Okay. So entry condition. If the condition is true, you perform action 1 and again enter into the loop. If the condition is false, do action 2 and come out of the loop. So the false condition is very much required for looping to avoid what? எதுக்கு நம்ம false condition வச்சிருக்கோம்? If I don't put false condition, my loop may go infinitely. To stop the loop at some point, we are checking for the condition. If the condition goes false, you quit the loop. அதுக்காக தான் நம்ம false condition வச்சிருக்கோம். And totally 3 kinds of repetitive statements are there: while, do while, for. Okay, so what is while? All the 3 are same only. All will do the repetitive task only, but the thing is syntax will vary. That's it. Okay, while is a loop which will first test the expression. If the expression is true, execute the statement block. If the expression is false, don't execute the statement block. Okay, and do while. First execute the statements, then check the condition. If the condition is true, continue back with the execution again, loop back with the execution again, otherwise come out of it. Okay, so difference between while and do while is while will test the condition first and then go for statement execution, whereas do while do the condition, I mean statements execution first, then check for the condition. இதுக்கு இன்னொரு பேர் கூட இருக்கு. என்னது அது? While is called as, anyone know? Yes, entry control statement. Which one is entry controlled statement? Which one is exit controlled statement? While loop is entry controlled statement. Check the condition during the loop entry, whereas do while will check the condition at the loop exit. Okay, and from both one looping statement will be varying, that is for loop. For loop will take initialization, text expression and update separated with semicolon. மேம் இந்த மூணுமே இங்க whileல நம்ம எங்க கொடுத்திருக்கோம் அப்படின்னு கேட்டா while and do while will not take initialization update as a part of the looping structure. The initialization should be done before the while loop starts. An update should be done within a while loop or after the while loop. That is your wish. Usually the update will be done inside the looping statement block. Okay. So this is for and while do while. Diagrammatic representation of for loop, while loop and do while loop. Almost all the looping structures are having the similar entity. In only thing என்னன்னா loop entry மட்டும் check பண்ணுங்க. For loop, the loop entry will take the initialization. For while, the loop entry will start with the condition evaluation. Whereas for do while, it will first do the statement execution, then check for the condition. அதே மாதிரி loop exit. For loop க்கு loop exit எப்படி இருக்கும் அப்படின்னா, if the condition pass, continue, iteratively do the statement. If the condition fails, loop exit. In while, if the condition pass, go back to the condition check. That is condition check. And if the condition is false, go back to the loop exit. And in do while, do the statement at the loop exit, you check the condition and iterate with the statement based on the pass or fail. If the condition is pass, iterate. If the condition is fail, loop exit, come out of the loop. Okay va? So loop entry la for loop ku initialization nadakum. For in case of while, loop entry will go ahead with the condition check. For do while, the loop entry will execute the statements. Loop exit for will quit the loop if the condition is false. While if the condition is false, will quit the loop. Whereas do while at the loop exit, it has to check the condition. Either decide you continue back or quit of the loop. Okay. Repetitors, these are the simple comparison table for loop, while loop and do while loop. So only three parameters we are taking for comparison. Introduction, when to use, syntax. So when will you use for loop? If the number of iterations are fixed, I want to iterate only for 10 times or 20 times. Very simple. Do the initialization with the value starting value 0 and fix the condition for 20 times and do the update periodic. I mean at each and every iteration the fixed update should be written. Okay, in that case use for loop. Okay, example application for loop. I want to go through the student record from 4001 to 4188 வரைக்கும் நான் எல்லாரோட ரெக்கார்டும் வியூ பண்ணணும். கண்டினியூஸ் ஆக்ஷன், வியூ த ரெக்கார்ட், இவ்வளவுதான் எனக்கு வேலையே அப்படின்னா ஃபார் லூப் போயிடுங்க. while loop, if the number of iteration is not fixed, yes, I don't know how many iterations my loop will take. Okay, in such case you go with the while loop. And do while, the number of iteration is not fixed. I don't know how many iterations I have to take, but I need to execute the loop at least once. You go with the do while loop. Example application for while loop. Yes, I want to find the summation of a given integer. Which loop you will use? I want to find out the summation of the given number. So I may give the input as 12. In the next input I can give the input as 123. In the next time, I can give the input as 1, 2, 3, 4. So at each and every time, my input digits are varying. So if the varying number of digits are there in the number, it is better you go with the while loop. For loop is not at all convenient for doing this operation. Okay. அதனால தான் நீங்க இந்த reverse of a number அப்புறம் வந்து addition of sum of the digits of a number இதுக்கெல்லாம் வந்து maximum we use while loop. ரீசன் அதுதான். ஏன் for வச்சே நம்ம பண்ணலாமே அப்படின்னு கேட்டா இட்ஸ் கம்ப்யூட்டிங் ஓவர் ஹெட் கொஞ்சம் இருக்கு அதுல. அதை அவாய்ட் பண்ணிக்கிறதுக்காக we are going for while loop. Okay. And jump statement. One more thing, another important thing is jump statements. I want to quit the current execution and jump to the specified location. Okay. வேற ஒரு லொகேஷனுக்கு நான் போகணும். அது வந்து ஜம்ப் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்ஸ் வழியாக தான் நம்ம போக முடியும். Totally 4 jump statements are there. Okay. Otherwise, we can say jump instructions allow us to unconditionally transfer program control from one point to another point. The point may be anywhere, elsewhere in the program. Okay. So 4 jump keywords are there: break, continue, return, and go to. Break, continue, return, common for all the programming languages. Go to is applicable only in case context sensitive languages like C and C++. மற்ற எதுக்குமே எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு go to statement இல்லை. ஓகேவா? C++ வரைக்கும் தான் go to இருக்கு. அதுக்கப்புறம் I haven't used. மேபி எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு go to எங்கேயும் இல்லைன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஓகேவா? Break. What is the use of break? I want to quit certain iterations. Okay, if my program have 100 iterations, can go 100 iteration. But if my task is achieved in the 5th iteration, I can stop the 5th iteration and skip the next 95 iterations. That is the motive of break statement. At which case we have to use break. Break எப்ப நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னா based on the condition evaluation. I am checking for certain condition. If the condition is met, skip the iteration. If I want to skip the iteration, you check the condition and use the break statement. Okay va? And continue எப்ப யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க? I want to loop back again for the specific condition alone. If, for example, I am checking the student record. I want to meet an extraordinary student among 188 students. So I'll be checking the record of students one after another. Okay. Whenever I see outstanding students, my checking again has to be resumed back. Okay. So the continue have to continue the loop till my motive is achieved. That is continue statement. Break is used to skip the iteration. Continue is used to continue the iteration based on the condition. Okay. All the 3 looping structures can use break and continue without any hesitations. And break and continue difference. When break is executed, the statements following the break are skipped. When continue is executed, the statements following the continue are skipped, but it will cause a loop to loop back again. Iteration will start again. Whereas in break, it is skipped only. It cannot go back again to execute the loop. It can be used in switch statement to transfer the control outside of the switch. That we already know. switch caseல break நம்ம யூஸ் பண்றோம். ஒரு break ஒரு case முடிஞ்சதும் எனக்கு switch விட்டு வெளியில வரணும்னா I can use break. It cannot be used inside a switch. Continue switch குள்ள யூஸ் பண்ண முடியாது. And simple example. So now tell me, can you able to justify the output? For break, I have an example program with the output 1. For continue, I have example program with 135 output. So can anyone elaborate what it is doing? For I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 5, I plus plus. If I mod division 2 equal to 0, don't execute the loop, break. So அப்ப எனக்கு எத்தனை முறை execute ஆகும்? The iteration will go from 1 to 5. 5 times iteration எழுதிருக்கும். But எனக்கு எத்தனை தடவை iteration போகுது? First time I வந்து 1. I modulo 2 is 1. Okay va? So it is not meeting the condition 0. So it won't break. Continue back. So 1 is printed. Continue back with the value increment of 2. I is now 2. 2 modulo division 2 equal to 0. Yes, I met with the condition. Break. The other iterations are skipped. Okay, that's why the output is 1. Whereas for continue, the same thing. Instead of break, we are replacing with the keyword continue. அப்ப எனக்கு எப்போ வந்து அந்த கண்டிஷன் மீட் ஆகுதோ நான் ஸ்கிப் பண்ணக்கூடாது பட் கண்டினியூ பண்ணணும். தட் இஸ் த ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் ஆஃப்டர் த கண்டினியூ no need to be printed. It has to be continued back. Okay. I is equal to 1. I modulo division equal to 0. எனக்கு continue அந்த கண்டிஷன் மீட் ஆகல. So it has to print the value. Value 1 is printed. Continue back. Then I is equal to 2. It is meeting the condition, but I don't want to print it. You just skip the printing statement and continue with the iteration. Next, I equal to 3. It won't return into the 0 value. So print 3. Next, 4. It will be meeting the condition. Don't want to print, continue back with a loop. Okay, so based on the condition check, you skip the for subsequent statements and continue back with the iteration. That is continue. Based on the condition, if the condition is met, no need of further iteration also iteration itself. Just quit back. Avladhan. Next, go to statement. Go to statement அப்படின்னா என்னன்னா, I have a certain thing. Condition check இருக்கு. என்னோட condition கரெக்டா check ஆச்சு. If it is true, I don't want to go with the subsequent section. Rather, go to the section I have mentioned. It may be previous or after. Okay va? So if you are moving, if the condition is true, if you are moving the control ahead of the program prior to the execution statement, that is backward jump. Okay, இப்போ 1 2 3 4 5 lines இருக்கு. Fifth line la you are doing condition check. If the condition is true, if you are writing the code, go to line 1. This is backward jump. And I have 10 lines. In the fifth line, I am writing the condition check. And I am writing go to line number 10. It is forward jump. Okay. So that's all about control structures. And next one is function. Functions we already know. Correct. Functions are a small modules. Function is basically a set of statements that takes input, performs some other computations. Syntax for writing function: return type space function name followed by set of inputs. So if I put semicolon after the function signature, it is function declaration. Okay. And what is the advantage of function is reusability and abstraction. Reusability and abstraction. The same function can be repeatedly used at some context. And abstraction will let you know what the function is doing and how it is doing. No need. That abstraction can be provided with the help of functions. The example for abstractive functions are scanf and printf. Okay. And next function blueprint, function header and function body we know. So what are the subcontents of function header? Return type, function name, parameters. And return statement is must, and you decide whether a function should have the return statement or not based on the return type given in the function header. ஃபங்க்ஷன் ஹெட்டரில் நீங்கள் என்ன ரிட்டர்ன் டைப் கொடுத்துருக்கீங்கன்னு பார்த்துட்டு அதுக்கேற்ற மாதிரி நீங்கள் ரிட்டர்ன் கீவேர்ட் போடணுமா போட வேண்டாமான்னு நீங்கள் தான் டிசைட் பண்ணணும். ஓகே, திஸ் இஸ் அ சிம்பிள் protocol of a function. Printing sum of two numbers. So function definition, we have written a function that is called in the main. So in the main I have only two statements, sum and return. So this sum followed by parenthesis semicolon is called to be the function calling statement. Okay, and int sum, this is the line number which is called to be a function called function statement beginning. Okay, so get two input from the user and do the summation, finally print the result. Calculate product of true numbers. See, எந்த லாங்குவேஜ்லயும் இல்லாத ஒரு விஷயம் நம்ம சில பண்ணுவோம். என்ன அப்படின்னா, in C language, if you are going to define a function, that should be, the function prototype should be intimated before itself in the header file section itself. ஸோ பின்னாடி இப்படி ஒரு ஃபங்க்ஷன் எனக்கு டிஃபைன் பண்ணுறேன் அப்படிங்கிறத நீங்கள் ஃபங்க்ஷன் ப்ரோட்டோடைப் ஹெடர் வச்சு நீங்கள் சொல்லி தான் ஆகணும், வேறு வழி கிடையாது. ஸோ ஆல்வேஸ் when your C program starts, what are all the functions you have that will have the header in the after the header file section, that is before main, it should be declared. The declaration is called to be function prototype specification. Okay, and after that you write the main, and after main only you have to define the functions what you have declared in the function prototype section. Okay, parameter passing. So how to pass parameters to a function? Two terminologies are there: formal parameter, actual parameter. So formal parameters are the parameters which appear in the function prototype. Actual parameters are the original values that are passed in the main or some other function during method call or function call. Okay, those are called to be actual parameters. Call by value and call by reference. So call by value, call by reference are two parameter passing techniques. In call by value, we supply the values as a parameter to the function. In call by reference, instead of passing values, we pass address of a variable to the function. Okay, a simple animation to illustrate the call by value and call by reference. So by this animation, what we understand is, I have a variable called circle. The circle is assigned with a value with a color blue, and I'm calling the function with call by reference. What happens is whenever you change and whatever you change inside the function, that will be reflected in the original variable also, because we are not sharing the value. Instead, we are passing the address of a value. So the direct memory location will get affected with the help of call by reference. Whereas in call by value, you are just copying the aliasing of the value to the function. So whatever you change inside the function, that will be reflected in the aliasing copy, not in the original copy. This is the difference between call by value and call by reference. Difference between call by value and call by reference. Okay. So basic enana, a copy of the variable is pasted, a variable itself is passed. That's why it is affected in the original memory also. And self-check questions. Consider self-check. I hope you have understood the concepts. Next we will see few self-check questions to understand the concepts more clearly. Consider C function given below. We have a function called f. Okay. Static int I equal to 50. Int k is a variable, and I equal to j. Whenever I and j becomes both similar, I have to print something, and k is called with again f. What is that? K equal to f of I. Nothing but recursion. Okay, return 0. And we are doing some condition check and we are returning 0 again. So which one of the following is true? The function returns 0 for all values of j. Option B, the function prints the start string something for all values of 0. The function returns 0 when j equal to 50. The function will exhaust the runtime stack or run into an infinite loop. Can anybody answer for this question? It will print return 0, or it will print the text something, or it will return 0 when j becomes 50, or it will end into an infinite loop. Answer is D. Why? Because here we didn't update the value of j or I. Nothing is updated. I is 50 always, and j is not at all mentioned. Okay, so it will never end. Since the function is called recursively, it will be calling again and again unlimitedly, because there is no condition update to quit the recursion. So it will be moving into infinite loop. Okay. Next question. The value of j at the end of the execution of the following C program. I have static int count 0, count is equal to count plus I, return count. This statement. And I am calling the function increment inside the loop. The loop will be iterated for 5 times. So after 5th iteration, what is the value of j? That is the question. Okay, wow. So initially, j is holding nothing. J is not at all holding nothing. Okay, ba? and static in count is equal to 0 and count is equal to count plus I. So 0 plus I, 0 plus 0, 0. So first time it will be returning 0 and in the next iteration it will be returning I will be incremented to 1. So 0 plus 1, 1. In the next iteration 1 plus 2, 3. And next iteration 3 plus 3, 6 and 4. Okay. So the value will be, I think it is 10.
10, ma'am.
Yes, the answer is 10. Very good. Okay. Your answer is correct, ma. Super. And next question. What will be the output of the following C program segment? So it's a switch case, correct? What is the output of this? We have character in char. So my case execution depends upon the character. So we know that, correct? Case உடைய value வந்து integer தான் இருக்கணும்னு அவசியம் கிடையாது. It may be a string or character also. Depends upon the program need. So கேஸ்க்கு வந்து possible values என்ன இருக்கலாம்னா A, B, C, D, E இருக்கலாம். And case ஓட value நம்ம இங்க முன்னாடியே கொடுத்திருக்கோம், ஏன்னு கொடுத்திருக்கோம். So the block to be executed is case A. So what will be the output? The output will be no choice, choice A, choice A, choice B, no choice. Program gives no output as it is erroneous. Whether the program is errored program, erroneous program or what? I hope it doesn't have any error.
Ma'am, is it C, ma'am? C, ma'am.
Option C.
Option C, ma'am.
Let us check.
Because case A does
Because
not
no
have
break
break
statement.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Because cases doesn't have break statement. So it is continuously going till default sections. Okay. Very good. And next program. Consider the following C program. One thing is followed here. What is that? Do we have recursion in this code? No, we don't have recursion, but we are using some operators, increment and decrement operators. So we have main function and we are calling the function print fun. So this is the code that they are asking, and what is the output after the function call? என்ன அவுட்புட் வரும்? எனி கெஸஸ் ஏபிசிடியில் ஏதாவது ஒன்று ரேண்டமாக சொல்லுங்க. அதர்வைஸ் சால்வ் அண்ட் டெல். So let's go with the solution straight. Time based. Answer C is the output. What is answer C? 426220. How 426220? We'll be starting from the main. A is 1. We are calling function print function and we are not passing anything. So A equal to 2, B equal to 1, A plus or equal to B plus 1. So A என்ன ஆகும்? 2 plus 2, 4. Correct தான். Correcta? I have a doubt. Here inside print fun we don't have we have A. Again in main we have A. Which will be taken? Both are same or both are different? In main we have A. In print fun we have A. So So both the A refers to the same memory or different memory. Any guesses? Oopsல ஒரு keyword இருக்கு ஜாவால. அந்த keyword understanding இருந்தா இதுக்கு ஆன்சர் பண்ணலாம் நீங்க. Static will take single memory allocation without irrelevant of the context. Okay. So static int A in main will take 1, whereas in printf and static int A 2, that is 1 will be overwritten by the program. Okay. Next question. What is the output of the following code segment? What is the output? Printf main. Main calling itself. Have you ever seen main calling by itself? It's a recursion. Main call பண்ணிக்கிற recursive எங்கயாவது பார்த்திருக்கீங்களா? What will be the output? Any guesses? While you answer for this question, keep it in mind. Recursion, looping, both are similar, right? In looping, we are giving a condition, conditional based repetition. Whereas in recursion, we are repeating a statement based on function call. That's it. That's all. அவ்வளவுதான் நமக்கு வித்தியாசமே. So இது வந்து எங்க நமக்கு விடும் output என்ன வரும்? Those who are telling right answer will get chocolate.
Infinite welcome statements, ma'am.
Is it? Let us check. Infinitely print the message welcome. Please remind me when we meet. I will give you a chocolate. Okay. Consider the function func shown below. The value returned by function 435. So function snapshot is given, blueprint is given, and they are asking to pass the parameter 435. So after 435, what will be the result? By passing 435, what will be the final value they are asking? Int count equal to 0, and while num வந்து if I give without any conditional relational operator, it should be evaluated to true. Boolean value treat பண்ணி எடுத்துக்கும். Count plus okay, num what do you mean by that operator? Num what is that? Greater than symbol equal to 1. What do you mean by that? It's very simple thing. What is that? Sorry, okay. Let us see the answer. Answer 9. Why 9? The function mainly returns position of most significant bit. Position of most significant bit. The MST in the binary representation of 435 is 9th bit. How? All the values are converted into binary value. So 4 will take the binary value 1000101. This is the binary representation of a number. So most significant bit is 9th bit. So we have 9 bits. So 9th bit that will be written by this code. Okay. So hope you have understood the concepts and logics clearly. Okay, thank you so much for your patient listening. Happy learning and keep learning. Okay, thank you.